Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
With the big, bold flavour of HP sauce, making breakfast legendary.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Alun, Cochrane and with Zoe Lyons this morning. Good morning, Zoe. Morning, Peter. Morning, Richie.
Morning.
You can text us on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Is it via or via?
Via.
Thanks. Okay, that's why Zoe's here. You can go now.
My job is done.
Yes, so, yes, welcome, Zoe.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
It's lovely to have you here. Would you agree, Alan?
Yeah, we gave Zoe the little chat about, read some of the emails, but not all. And,
yeah, don't read the abusive emails.
Don't read the abusive, but there's some that have to go in other columns, like there's a miscellaneous column now. Like, this would look like it could be one that she might want to read. It's an email that says, looking forward to seeing Alun. Good morning to you all. I know you hate to advertise your other works, Frank, but can I say it's good to see Room 101 back on Friday nights? But Frank, what I would like to know is, when will your friend and colleague Mr. Alun Cochrane be appearing?
Well, can I tell you, I have tried my best.
I think this is a show listener that didn't hear the episode where we discussed how you embarrassed the producers in front of me
by saying, yes, this is Alan who I keep asking you to put on the show. Yeah, I think you'd be brilliant on it.
Thanks very much.
I think there's an anti-northern bias on the BBC generally.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I can take that as... I'll take some solace from that. It's more about the north-south divide than anything else.
See, that's why he's never on the telly, he's only on the radio. Do you know Ian McMillan, Zoe?
No, I don't. Who's Ian McMillan?
He's a northern poet.
Oh, yes,
Very
I do
commonsensical.
Oh, yes, he's got a lovely voice.
Yeah.
It sounds like... Yeah.
Sound of a bee. It sounds like you can hear it. You can hear the bee.
Whenever I do listen to him, I have an image of tartan slippers in my head.
Maybe
it gives off that image.
Yes. I've met him. He's genial.
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, you surprised by that?
No.
It's hard with the northern. There's the two. You got the two images to work with. You got the friendly, and then you got the dour.
I think we know which I'm bringing to the party.
Yeah, well, I know. I know. That's what I like about you. There's no grey areas.
See, I've got a northern twang without any real northern connect. My mum's from the north, but I'm not from the north.
Where are you from?
All over. It's a.
I'm
like the travelling.
Don't, please.
hobo.
I'm going to stop you now before you say wherever I hang my hat.
Yeah. Wherever I perch my beret.
I was once I have only had 2 job interviews in my life, and on one of them there was a man who I instantly took to, and I said, where are you from? And he said, well, wherever I hang my hat.
That was it.
And I said, I couldn't resist. I said, what hat? And he said, no, it's like a... And I made him explain it to me. Yes, that's what... Literalism, that's what shoots them down in the end. Okay, so I'd like to... can I tell you a little story?
Please.
I saw some recently which I'd forgot they existed. Yeah, I think the Max Bygraves impression is underused on commercial radio. I saw a pen shop. Now, I was surprised to see a pen shop. Is it just that I don't notice them? Are they all over the place?
Do you mean a stationery shop or just
No, I
pens,
mean a shop that...
only pens?
Well, let me put it this way. It's a shop that I think that the proprietor's dream was that it would only sell pens.
Right.
And then they'd... when a shop isn't going well and suddenly they're cutting keys.
Oh, yeah.
He'd started cutting keys and he'd gone as far as the rack of Zippo lighters. That's another thing where they think, well, maybe I could go as far as the Zippos. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I worried for the business. But would you...
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a pen shop?
No. I don't. I'm fairly confident I have not been in a just pens shop. Like, I've been in stationery shops. Some people love
I like
them,
a stationery shop.
Some people really love them.
I do really like them. I was out buying my new 2015 journal only this week.
All right, big man.
Yeah.
Late with that.
Pardon?
I'm looking for 2016 already.
Oh, yeah?
I'm planning way ahead.
I tell you what I do. I start the new year in the old year. I'm writing on the inside back cardboard cover.
Yeah, okay.
So I like to keep it in that book as long as I can, and then I like to emerge. But yeah, I delight in a stationery shop, but I don't think I've ever owned a really nice pen. Zoe?
I have a very nice pen, but it was given to me. It was,
Oh.
it
Well,
was given to me.
hold that anecdote, because I don't know if you were told about this. We have to play music as
Oh,
well
really?
as talk. I know, it's a nonsense. We are Best Chat Show. I mean, that was our award. Was it chat? Talk.
Spoken word.
Spoken. What was it? What was the name of it?
Best talk radio.
No one knows. We won an award. None of us know what it was. I think it was cycling proficiency.
Frank Skinner is his name, and this radio station is
Absolute Radio.
Also, it said, there was a sign in the window of the pen shop that said, pens bought and sold. That can't be right, can it?
This one stopped working, I'd like to say.
Did you have like an old biro in your pocket and you thought, I wonder how much for this?
I suppose it's because...
7p.
I suppose your posh pen, you buy the pen and then you get a series of refills.
Yeah,
don't
Yeah.
you get rid of
Yeah.
yeah. I do have a posh pen. I'll
Yeah,
tell
so
you
tell
what.
it- tell us.
So my little brother, for a significant birthday, bought me a really nice pen. I've got a Mont Blanc pen.
A Mont
which-
Blanc.
A Mont Blanc.
Okay.
Which is, I love it. It's something I'd never buy
But
myself.
does it,
because
when you
it-
write with it, does it feel nice
the
in the
words that
writing?
come out of that pen.
Oh, really?
Oh, the eloquence, the flow of language.
It's
no,
like-
I mean,
it's
I
like
still do.
Billy's boots,
I'm
is
still
it?
writing to-do
Billy's
lists, you
boots
know.
pen, yeah.
Still write like toilet duck, you know.
Yes.
To-do list with it, but. I do enjoy it, and my Mont Blanc pen is treated very well. It's like a sort of housebound Siamese cat. It never leaves the house.
Oh,
that's
because you're not
nice.
going to risk losing
and
it now.
and it sleeps on a little leather bed.
I think people do that. I once wrote
I
a
sleep
note
on a
for
little leather
someone.
bed. Mate.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Wearing your leather crown. Someone made you.
World of Leather, that's what I call my house. World of Leather.
As part of your membership of the
I
community.
have 3 leather Zs suspended on fishing twine above my bed
Oh,
to
nice.
suggest sleeping.
Nice. Yeah, I think people that have nice pens get quite possessive about them, because I once
Yeah.
wrote something for a guy and I went, oh, is this my pen? You know, like you do with biros. that
Oh,
are just
yeah.
looking at it,
Yeah.
and he too quickly went, no, it's mine.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, is this a really nice pen? And it was one of those
That's why I
monsters
don't
or
take him
whatever.
out the house. That's why I don't take him out the house.
Him?
Because, yeah. yeah.
No, but
He's Mont Blanc.
this
He's
is
Monsieur
why
Mont Blanc.
this is why I don't understand expensive sunglasses, because there are certain things in life which are you are meant to be lost. You know, sunglasses,
Umbrellas.
pens being obvious. Yeah, umbrellas. You don't want to go splashing out on an umbrella.
Yeah, that's why I've always avoided the silver-handled, sword-tipped umbrella. It's just
Yes.
it's pointless. I'll leave it on the train.
Yes, I own a Mont Blanc which I've never used, and I'll tell you why. And by the way, other pens are available.
Well out of this
Parker.
link.
But
Biro, Bic.
now, when I did the Michael Parkinson show, which I believe was called Parkinson.
There's a Parkinson's pen available as well.
Yeah, but there was you got a present, and the present was a Mont Blanc pen, which had inscribed on the side Parkinson.
Nice.
And I think that's ironic, because I wonder if the closure of pen shops and the struggle of pen shops across the country isn't because Michael Parkinson is giving away free ones
Willy-nilly.
on the telly to people who just for inquiring.
I'm just as happy with the Sharpie, though, as well. Can I just say that? The other end of the market. I do. I get a little excited around a packet of Sharpies.
I would only if I were writing on a balloon would I use a
Oh,
Sharpie.
I love that sound.
Yeah.
Oh, that,
Oh, it's the smell I'm after. Apparently Parkinson, you know this thing about you get a free Parker pen just for inquiring. It's inquiring about anything. If
Really?
you see him in the street, say, all right, Mike, could I give you a pen?
Yeah, what's pi? Just anything. Just ask
Yeah.
him any general knowledge question.
Anything, we wouldn't know that. But yeah. Yeah. He'd say Lancashire up. No, he wouldn't, 'cause he's from York. Oh, can't get out this link. I'm trapped. Somebody help me out of this link. Come on, Zoe, help me out of this link.
is it time?
I'm drowning. I need Kate Winslet to hold my hand. Too late.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
We chat during the music, obviously. I don't you think we sit here in complete silence?
Occasionally we bug out to it if we really like it. don't we?
Yeah, we will. We will
It's
do
often
that.
interspersed with chat.
I didn't do it to the last track, but I've done it to other tracks. And we were talking, and we got onto the subject of voiceovers, obviously, because there were adverts on and stuff. And Zoe, you've done a voiceover which sounded fairly challenging.
I've only ever done one voiceover in my entire life, and it was I ended up playing I was playing the part of a red wine stain.
Brilliant.
You know when you turn up and the director goes to you, you'll be playing the red wine stain, and you try desperately...
No, I don't know. I don't know that.
Me neither.
No.
My CV's mainly white wine stains.
Well, white wine stains are
Sorry.
quieter and just... Yeah,
Of course, yeah.
Mine's
They only-
non-alcoholic wine
They only
stain.
ever bring the white wine stain only ever
Nowadays.
comes in if there's a red wine stain already there.
Ah,
You see,
of
that's what
course.
happens. you
That's
see.
what I brought
Yeah.
to the role.
Yeah.
I didn't really. I've not done that.
The snubber out. the Edward Woodward of wine stains. The white
Yes.
wine stain. I'll just snub you out. And I played a red wine stain, and I wasn't really aware. I didn't really know how to approach it, so I just. Not having heard many red wine stains in my life, not
Yes.
the roars of the Rioja,
I
I didn't
feel-
really know. So I just sort of
I've heard the effect of red wine on a lot of people.
yeah, or the effect of a red wine stain on you. So
Were you
so,
tempted to play it a little bit inebriated because it was wine?
No, because
French.
I played it very straight.
Oh,
I played it
okay.
very straight. Yeah,
Okay.
I played it very straight, and
What did you have to say? Do you remember?
I had to. In fact, I hadn't even written the script. Which was, yeah.
Oh, you
so-
improv'd it?
So I improv'd it. I riffed it.
Wow.
And it went something along the lines of, "I'm a red wine stain, baby!" And they went, "That is amazing." And I went,
thought
"Well,
that
I
was
have found
straight.
a new niche. I have found a new... This
You
is
did it like that?
Yeah.
You went Theophilus T. Wildebeest?
I think you brought quite a lot to it
I
rather
brought a
than
lot
played
to
it
it. I
straight.
rock and rolled it up.
Yeah, that's Zoe
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's
God,
that
I'm
tell you?
glad we didn't say you to the radio, but just play it straight, sure. Morning, how you doing? So we stopped that. Wow, that's excellent. You know what they say in Vino Veritas.
They do say
Yeah,
that.
so I'm
That's
written
my
that.
one and only voiceover job. I once got auditioned for continuity work, but I had a really bad cold the day I went, so I didn't get the job.
They don't like that, do
They
they?
really don't. If you go the sport.
Yeah. No, they don't like that.
No.
I think they sense it hitting the microphone.
Yeah. Big spray.
Yeah, it's not good.
This is Absolute Radio. And that is Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We've had another email that I would say is perhaps an example for Zoe of the sort of emails that we wouldn't normally read.
Uh-oh.
I like this. Can you please send me more details of how to get Absolute Radio at home and in my car clearly? I have a 14-plate Ford Focus, also radios at home, which I can't seem to get your station clearly.
14 plate.
Yeah, I think he's saying his vehicle is a 2014. You know, like,
Oh.
that's what year it is.
Oh, okay. I
I would
thought
argue that is
it.
unnecessary information.
I thought it made it from crockery.
Made in toilet plates.
It's a Greek wedding car. Delivers the bride at Greek weddings. Then they throw it up the wall.
Yeah. I mean, the short answer is, we personally, I'm going to go out on a limb here, we personally can't explain how to get Absolute Radio at your home.
Well, speak
and
for
in
yourself. But I just don't have time to do it now. I could do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't you just program it into the radio? Am I
yeah.
overcomplicating
I would just
things?
press
It's
search until Absolute comes
Yeah.
up. But,
Yeah, but, we're all different.
I mean, I haven't got a 14-plate Ford Focus. Mine's, I made mine out of 13 separate teacups.
Oh, did you?
We're all
Wow.
different. We're all different, as you say.
Yeah. I tell you what I did this week. I tidied my... there's a room where I work, and it's become...
Office?
I'm going to call it that. It's a 16-plate office.
Nice.
But one of them is one of those big turkey plates you only use
Oh,
at Christmas.
excellent. Yum.
And that's what I work on. No, it's gone into a bit of a mess, so I did a tidying job. I'd spent it went about 2-3 days it took me, and I got it absolutely... I didn't just tidy, but I threw away everything I didn't want. I really
Wow.
gave it the
Did you do a lot of
fine-tooth comb.
shredding?
I did, my PA did a bit of shredding on my behalf.
Yeah.
But basically, at the end of it, I thought, God, it looked great. It looked really great. And I thought, no, this is poor. I thought, I suppose, really, that's a sort of a New Year's resolution. And I retrospectively made it a New Year's resolution that I had then completed.
Oh, I see.
No, that's not fair, is it? It's not how it works. I'm gathering New Year's resolutions like a lint roller.
Yeah.
I think it counts.
Is it all right to
Listen,
do something and then say, you know what? That's my New Year's resolution.
Sometimes I will retrospectively go back in my diary and put in things that I've done so that it makes that week look less dull than it actually was.
What, things you've done later in the year?
That weren't planned, but I just sort of...
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So that my theory is that if I'm ever involved in a horrific accident or something and they find my diary, they think I had a really busy life.
Yeah.
They were like, wow, she was busy. I
She
don't know
washed
how
the car that Wednesday.
I don't know how she even fitted this incident in.
Well, it shows what a smart person you are. So many people are wondering about they worry about their underwear if they're in a serious accident. But
Yeah.
it's your whole life.
It's my whole life. It's my whole
Yeah, I think that's...
schedule.
But the trouble is, they might think, well, let's not try too hard to save her. She's had a full life as it is.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
Just touch briefly there on the New Year's resolution. I would say it's a commercial radio. In fact, a radio standard. When you go to the New Year, you say, well, so why don't text in your New Year's resolutions? That number again, 345-9011. We sometimes I think we should do more of that stuff.
Give them what they want.
Yeah, give them what they want.
Yeah, they want to tell us their New Year's
They
resolution.
want 20-second links.
Yeah.
In which I say Coldplay sounding great.
Yeah.
And then they just want more music.
Is this your way of saying text us on 8, 12, 15 with your New Year's resolution?
No.
Is it really?
Not really.
I didn't think
I
so.
don't really. I'd like you to text us on 8, 12, 15 with my New Year's resolution. And the best one I will endeavour to keep. What about that?
Right. Mine's to get my PA to do my shredding for me. That's my New Year's resolution.
Oh, well, I've already done... I could do that retrospectively.
Does your PA have a shredding machine, or does she just...
I know, well,
sit
I have the shredding
there,
machine.
ripping it through her teeth?
No, she has a very tiny pair of scissors. What do they call those? Is it pinching scissors or something? What's the ones with the serrated edge?
Pinching.
It's not pinching, is it?
Pincing.
Pincing?
Crimping.
Crimping.
Good. Yeah, let's
So
have
that's
that.
this morning's texting. What are those, like, crocodile mouth scissors called? Pincing sounds good to me. But crimping sounds equally good. Yeah, my New Year's resolution, the only one I've really settled on, is teaching my son to swim. He's 2.5. But the more I think about it, when I say teaching him to swim, I take him to lessons where someone else teaches him to swim. I'm even wondering if it's worth me getting in the water at all. So, as New Year's resolutions go,
Yeah.
it's basically, I've just laid it all on a 2.5-year-old. It's all the responsibility, and a complete stranger. So I think I need one which requires... Because I'm a big fan of the New Year's resolution. I used to start them on, I think it was October the 21st. No, well, I read that the light bulb was invented by Marconi. And I thought, light bulb, that's a good thing to celebrate, because it suggests the big idea. So, and I think what the trouble is with January the 1st...
You're going to invent the light bulb for your New Year's resolution.
Well, I invent something of a similar use.
It's been done, Frank.
Yeah, that has been done. You can't reinvent the light bulb, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We've
We've had a lot of text saying pinking shears, by the way.
Pinking. So thank you so much for that.
Just snip that now.
Pinking.
No, stop now. Stop.
Pink
That's
that
still
in the
coming
bud.
in.
No, that's good, but thank you for that. 50 pence a text, we must have made 30 quid.
Yeah, I'd say 40, actually.
That's what we should do, ask more obvious questions. We'd be in clover. No, thanks for that. It's really... in case you don't know this, Zoe, our readers, they're better than Google. They know everything.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
The hive mind of a superior nature.
Exactly.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
So that's about all I've come up with. Honestly, if someone can send in a New Year's resolution for me, I will do it.
All right.
Have you got one, Alan?
No, but I'm going to stop drinking next month after my birthday, so I don't feel like I need a New Year's resolution as well.
Forever?
Well, probably for a decade, actually.
Is it just because everyone else is doing dry January, you've decided to get plastered for that, and then your cantankerous
continuing
manner?
to drink during January, yes, because, it's like a honeymoon period for me and drinking,
Yes.
and then after that it stops. It's going to stop in February for a chunk of time.
You're such a rebel.
People get really angry about it because I haven't got a problem, and so they say, "Why? People go, "Why have you decided to?" Anyway. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
That's because they're on the sinking ship of alcoholism. They want you to stay on with them.
Yeah, I think that's probably
don't
true.
worry.
Bring you down to their level. That's what I like to do. Yeah.
What
But
about
other
you,
than that,
Zoe?
Well, I won't be giving up drinking. 'Cause no, I won't be doing that.
No.
But I like a bit of
Well, that'd be. I mean, what with you being a red wine
That's
representative?
it. That's it.
God,
Actually,
that
somebody
would be-
emailed in and said, Red Winestein, doesn't that sound like an American billionaire? That was the email.
Oh, it does. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Weinstein.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Red Weinstein.
Stop doing the voice.
You
Zoe.
might know me from my works
In fact, you were doing an
in the
impression.
carpet industry. Yeah.
You
Red
must have got
Weinstein.
that subliminally. That's why you did
Yeah.
the voice for the Red
Red
Weinstein.
Weinstein was, yeah. I was so deep in character. I was shag pile deep in carpet stained character. That's where I was.
Oh, it was a carpet stain. You
Oh, it
kept
was a
that,
carpet. It was
oh,
an
you kept
absolute
that under your hat.
carpet.
I was
Yeah.
thinking tablecloth.
Oh no, I went
Made a
full
right
carpet.
fool of myself.
No, I went full
So
carpet.
what's your resolution?
It's boring, but it's cliche, but it is self learning new stuff.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
It's a
Because
catch-all.
last year I learnt to scuba dive.
Wow, that's a big
which
thing.
was quite exciting. Me and the wife learnt to
Paddy.
scuba dive. Paddy, absolutely.
Paddy.
The Irish diving course that you can do. Which just go down on 3 tanks of Guinness and have a whale of a time. And it was great, but somebody came up to us afterwards, right, my other half and I, and went, "Oh, it's great that you've learned," and then looked at us and went, "You're never too late to learn new stuff." And it was the first time that I went, "Ooh," smarted slightly.
That's
Yeah.
not been a nice
Can I
problem.
just tell you as
Yeah.
well, Zoe, that it is too late
Yeah,
sometimes to learn new
sometimes.
stuff.
Yeah.
75 and skateboarding, I wouldn't. Yeah.
Although you live in Brighton.
I live in
75
Brighton and you see that quite a lot, to be
Yeah.
honest
Can I
with
tell you that 75 and skateboarding was the corner I lived on in New York in the 1970s. It was a tough area, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Is it just general self-improvement?
Well, okay, so I'm going to learn how to build a website.
Huh?
Okay.
Right.
So it's going to be, but it's got to have a point to it. Yeah. And I'm going to
What, the
do,
website?
like I believe you've just done, learn to ride a motorbike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
So I'm going to drive a
good.
motorbike.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest there might be some work to do if I'm saying I'm going to drive a motorbike.
I'm going to learn how to build a web.
A web.
I see them in my garden and think, oh, I love the way they catch the morning dew.
Yeah.
But they disappear. They're very flimsy, the way the spiders make them. They use substandard, cheap materials. They're like the builders of the 1960s.
Well, you're going to use cable.
I'm going to use high-tension cable.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ratcheted down.
I'm hoping to
That'd be
catch
good.
light aircraft. So I'll keep you posted on that one. We'll see how it goes.
Frank Skinner is his name, and this radio station is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner, Alun Cochrane and Zoe Lyons on Absolute Radio. You can text us on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
There's a little bit of trouble at the mill
A little bit of trouble.
amongst the readership. 545 has texted, think Thomas Edison invented the light bulb.
Yes, you know what, you're right. I made a faux pas.
I think you said it was Marconi. 476 has texted, Marconi invented the radio. Joseph Swan invented the light bulb. Not sure he did. I think Swan invented the match. Swan
It's like a light bulb, though.
Yeah, true enough.
Prototype.
Yeah, exactly.
181.
You got in there first. 181. I used to live at 181 Bristol Hall Road.
Did you?
That's a
So you got blue
coincidence. What are the
plaque?
chances of that happening?
In your house.
181 has texted, didn't Thomas Edison invent the light bulb? Marconi invented the thing you're on. I think he means the radio as opposed to the seat.
Yeah, what about if he invented the office chair?
That's a good point, yeah. And possibly my favourite of the lot, 329, they're called pinking shears, Frank. Also, on the previous problem of finding the show in car, I simply utilised the auxiliary function on the stereo to listen via my Absolute Radio account on my phone. Voila! Good text in, that's from John in Dartford.
That's worth keeping for
Strong
when
work.
if we get that nice and neat around the edges, and then we can just use it as a jingle if anyone else texts in about how to get Absolute Radio.
Actually, while we're
I don't just mean on this show, I mean across the board on this station.
While we're on people complaining at you about things that you've got wrong, may I just add 787, Frank, man, are you for real? Spiderweb is the strongest thing known to man. In tests the same thickness of spiderweb and high tensile, the spiderweb could hold more weight. Sort it out, Frank.
So hold on a minute. So if I ran, let's say, at the door of this studio, which is locked for security reasons, if I ran at that full blast, I'd get more resistance if I ran at a spiderweb.
That's what he's saying. If it was the same size as high tensile
The thing, you know what the
steel,
problem is with this argument? It isn't the same size.
you'd need a massive spider. Or, like, some weird battery farm production line of
It's like
spiders
the
all
flea,
working
you know,
together.
the flea can, people say, oh, the flea can jump over a skyscraper. No, it can't. It can't jump over it. It can jump over a skyscraper that someone's had to make to look a bit like the same size as a flea.
But sometimes I do walk through my garden of a morning if there are spider webs across it and just rip through them like a sort of Hulk. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
But one of my worst
Ripping through the
things...
strongest material known to arachna.
Yeah. No, I can see that. But you know when you walk along at night past and you just feel the little trimmings of a spider web on your face, it's like just a little...
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that.
No, I don't like
Because I think
A
if the
whistling
spider
web.
if the spider web on my face, there's a fair chance there's a spider now laying eggs in my earwax. That's
Sounds
the way
cosy.
that's the way I see it. Anyway,
What does your breakfast say about you? That's what I want to speak about. I've got an article here that says achievers...
oh, you and your articles.
Achievers eat hot white toast with the crusts on and dip
Really?
their butter
White?
knife in the jam.
I dip my butter wife. My butter wife. Have you met her?
Yeah. Your PA does the shredding and your butter wife does the toast.
Never mind what my butter wife does. But I always like to leave a trail of butter in the jam.
Do you?
Yes.
On purpose?
Well, not but
like to.
I hate the idea that life is so austere that you have to think, oh, I'll have to use another knife because I don't want to leave any...
You don't need to use another knife. What you
lick
do
it.
is you... No. You take the knife and you slide it in horizontally into the piece of bread and then pull it out and it's like a napkin. Into the crust. Use
then
the
start
crust
again.
as its own napkin.
Oh,
Yeah.
but you're suggesting I basically use a piece of bread as a tea towel.
No, well, yes, but you are going to eat... It's all going to go down the same way, Frank, so it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
yes.
Yeah. So you slide it in... It's slightly surgical, but it really
But you
works.
know what? I'm
Does
happy.
sound surgical.
I'm
I
happy
think this
to
is saying a
say-
lot about my personality.
But I kind of like the Milky Way of butter on the top
Yeah.
of a jar of jam. It looks lived in.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute
Somebody
Radio.
has emailed in along the lines of the light bulb debacle, saying that apparently Edison didn't invent the incandescent light bulb. He was just the first to design a commercial successful version, while he was taking time off from electrocuting cats and smearing his competitors. He sounds a lot more interesting now.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
I wonder what he smeared them with.
I don't know. Electrocuted cats, I would imagine.
What he should
Yeah.
have, what he should have done.
Puddy
is
puree.
He should have run the cat through a slice of bread. and
Yeah,
it wouldn't
that's
have,
what he
wouldn't
would
have
have
been
done. Or just got your PA to shred it
No, I
first.
didn't. Can I say this is one person's opinion about Thomas Edison? I don't know if that's true, but
Well-
it may be. I think experimentation in those days was a bit more
Full on.
freeform.
I mean, you say it's one person's opinion. 514 has also texted, "Chaps, I have briefly scrutinised this Edison. It appears that at a time when electric was first discovered, he went around claiming all sorts for himself, not just the incandescent light bulb, but phonograph, electric chair, X-rays, batteries, and all things waxed paper." So there we go. That's Neil
Is it-
from Penge.
Was he Thomas? I'm having that Edison.
It does sound that way.
I just wonder where the cats come in with the light bulb.
I suppose he
Where,
did.
where was he screwing the light bulbs in? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
And that's-
exactly. And did they light up?
Yeah.
And just for balance.
I think you get them to urinate on 1 bar electric fires.
Is that what happens?
Yeah, there used to be a lot of cats dying like that when I was a kid. weeing on electric fires. I'd never heard of that for years.
No, I
don't know what they've changed. Either the electric fires or they've had rubber soles put on cats to...
Or perhaps cats learned their behaviour and spread the word.
Perhaps cats
like
now,
we did with driving seatbelts.
Perhaps cats keep their tails to the ground like those things you get off the back of cars and are thus earthed.
An earthen wire.
Can I say we're not making light of the death of cats? They are loving creatures, which, well, they're not that loving. They're famous for their coldness. But, you know...
On the subject of balance...
So a Kraftwerk, but I love them.
Yeah, true enough, yeah. Hello, Frank and everyone. Marconi didn't invent the speaking radio. He invented the radio telegraph. The Titanic survivors were saved because of this. Love, Kate, great niece of Titanic fireman Ted Biggs.
Oh,
That's a claim to fame, isn't it?
I don't know if I'd want to... That's a claim to fame, but if I was Edison, or whoever it was who invented that thing... Marconi, sorry. Who I believe was the best man at Mussolini's wedding, or vice versa.
No way.
Yes, or Mussolini was best man at his wedding.
Wow.
I don't think I'd be bragging about the fact that I'm responsible for the survivors on the Titanic. It's not a thing you really associate with
not a big enough group.
With success.
No, true that.
But you know, well done to the relative. Should we get back to breakfast? I'm slightly fascinated by this. I'll tell you for why, because I have recently... I would never have white toast by choice, so that means I'm not an achiever. Is that right?
I think they're saying something along those lines, yeah.
I'll tell you what I have started doing. When I have a poached egg now, I'll put it in the middle of the toast, and then I'll tear the... well, actually, I get my PA to do it. I tear the side, that bread which is not covered by poached egg, I tear those bits off and use them as soldiers.
Oh, okay.
Until I leave the poached egg on a platform of bread which fits it snugly. A plinth. It's on a plinth. And then I eat it like one might eat an oyster.
You schluck it.
Yeah. And take the whole thing down. Yeah, so that's a new method. I
hope I never see that.
I don't know.
Awful.
I don't know how I've arrived. I hope I never see that. Would be a very good title for a TV show. Can we work on the what that might be?
To my people.
Frank Skinner is his name, and this radio station is
Absolute Radio.
Your scarf. I was just looking. I can't quite work out the knottage on it.
No, it's just...
You've done that ethnic thing of winding it around and around like people do with...
Is that allowed? Is he fine to do that?
Is that an ethnic thing?
I think you can do that. You know, when people wear a third world scarf...
Oh, my goodness.
They wind it around... They wind it... No, that's all right. I'm not saying anything. No, they wind it around and around. I think...
I mean... Both of the off-air people in this room, the producers have got their head in their hands. Is that fine?
What if I haven't... There's nothing wrong in that.
When I got up this morning and dressed myself in my scarf, I thought, I'm going to go for a strong ethnic look this morning. That's what I'm going to go for.
I think yours is, but it's very...
What it is it's tied up nice and high,
I can see
so there's
two
no tripping
knots.
hazard.
There are two knots in it, though.
No, just the one knot.
Okay.
No, but it's gone around several times.
It has gone around several times.
Because I wasn't sure that I've never been in your studio before, and I wasn't sure what the temperature would be like, so I've worn a high scarf and a vest.
I'll tell you what, if you do your bike test, you'll save money on a snood with that,
absolutely.
won't you? Straight.
Well, I was watching Alun Pardew the other week, making notes in the stand at Crystal Palace, and he's done that thing where you sort of tie the scarf around you in a loop, and then you bring it through the loop.
Lace it through. Yeah.
You see, I just knot my scarf. Everyone I see has got a better, cooler scarf style than me. I need diagrams.
I thought you looked good as Perkins in Doctor Who.
Oh, well, that was I did not that. It was done for me by the wardrobe lady.
Staff.
Professional.
I was in Doctor Who, Zoe. Did you know that?
Were you really?
Yes.
Oh.
You should have seen me. Gotta dance! That wasn't relevant at all, but
It doesn't matter.
if I get really excited, that's how it comes out. Can I just stop this breakfast chat for a moment, because I've got a Doctor Who.
Which breakfast chat you were
talking
from about
breakfast.
10 minutes ago?
Okay, sorry, I haven't been listening for a while. What happened? I was so mesmerised by Zoe Lyons' scarf. Is it Zoe Lyons' scarf or Zoe Lyons' scarf?
Zoe Lyons' scarf.
Oh, too many zoos. It's like I've been working in a beehive.
Yeah.
She hasn't got a beehive, by the way. Yeah, I went to a screening of the Doctor Who Christmas special. Now, I did this last year as well. Obviously, Christmas was last year, but I mean, I did it in 2013. And they have a facility there where you can have a green screen you can stand in front of, and they put you in the picture with Doctor Who and Jenna. So last year it was like Matt Smith and Jenna, and then it was me and a friend of mine who works at the BFI. So I got it on my wall. And this year they had what you can be in with Nick Frost as Santa Claus and Peter Capaldi. So I went and got my green screen done again. And Stephen Moffat was there, who's the showrunner of Doctor Who, and he said, "Frank, you've been in Doctor Who. You don't need to do this anymore." And that hadn't occurred to me.
That's great.
But it's still on the shelf.
Did you get to say to him, "I'm a fan first"?
Yeah.
No, I didn't say that.
Right,
It's a
fair
bit
enough.
too imposing. I just said, "Yes, Stephen, anything you say." But something. Can I briefly play you this? This is. I'd like to see what you make of this sound. I'm going to put the sound on my phone, which is risky, I know. Listen to this. Okay, what do you think?
Bats.
No, it's all 707 episodes of classic Doctor Who played simultaneously.
Wow.
What?
Yes.
Why?
It's a fantastic... Why? Because one just doesn't have time.
It's a fantastic what? What were you about to say? It's
I
a
love the
fantastic-
sound of it. It's like, you know, like... Do you remember when they drilled deep into the earth and thought they'd found hell? They had sounds, and they actually thought they'd found hell, the engineers. And there was a tape of... and it sounded a bit like hell. It sounded a bit like that. Obviously, I don't associate it with hell. But, it made me think... When people say to me, "Have you seen Breaking Bad?" and stuff, which, you know, I can't watch an American drama... what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the box set simultaneously and say, "Yeah, I've seen it, but I don't really want to talk about it." So, thus I am cool, but not bored.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Did anyone send in any resolutions for me to do?
I think they might have on the Twitter, which I can't see.
Is it on the Twitter?
It's on the Twitter.
Oh, well, okay.
Somebody sent in one for I don't know if there's a New Year's resolution or just a suggestion. It's to record a solo album with classic rock pop songs accompanied only by his ukulele.
Nice.
All proceeds to UNICEF. That's from Richard.
Oh, I like UNICEF. That's so inappropriate for me, because UNICEF is like the posh charity. It's like Roger Moore. One imagines that Bianca Jagger is involved with UNICEF.
Probably.
Do you know what I mean? It's that.
Yeah.
It's kind of people who have yachts do stuff for UNICEF. So I like the idea. Obviously it's a good cause, but it's a good cause almost exclusively people by posh people. People by posh people. Whoops, I dropped my biro.
We've also had a text from Andy in Leytonstone saying, "Our daughter leaves lots of butter in the jam. Once she shouted from the kitchen, 'Mum, is there any butter?' I shouted back, 'There's some on the jam.'"
That's it. That could be from a 1970s sitcom. That right? Fabulous. That's really top-notch stuff.
Yeah, I don't eat toast, so I'm sort of left out by this survey. I've stopped eating the grains, except for the occasional bit of white rice.
Have you?
Yeah.
May I ask
Got rid
why?
of the grains, because they weren't working for me.
Okay.
I mean, back in the day... They just weren't working for me. I've gone paleo.
Were they
largely.
working against you?
Yes.
You know what I'm trying to say?
You have
Yes.
gone a bit paleo.
I've gone a bit paleo.
I was going to ask what that was.
I used to eat toast on the morning before doing this show, do you remember? And then for about the first hour and a half, my tummy would rumble during every link whilst I was digesting it. I don't think I digested grains very well.
I don't think
So-
I do either,
so
but
I've got a shot
I'm
of it.
quite distressed about that because I love bread.
Well,
Love it.
you can get rid of it, and life is still rich and varied and enjoyable. It does mean that I'm left out of this survey because I'm not any of the. I'm not a YOLO, which they say is you only live
What
once.
about the 80s sitcom, Bread? How do you feel about that?
Gotta get up, gotta get out. That one,
Yeah.
I liked it. I like the
Okay.
theme tune.
What about Bread, the band, David Gates?
I don't know them.
Let me try and think of.
We're gonna keep doing
Gonna
this.
make it with you. I really wish that I could make it, girl.
Yeah, I mean,
Say, did you ever try?
it's not my cup of tea, but
No, okay. Tea as well, that's
I
gone.
like tea. I
that's
like
all
the
right.
tea. I'm still on the tea.
Okay.
But like this survey says the YOLO, you only live once, goes for thick cut white bread, burnt to a crisp and smothered with a thick layer of jam. How's that? You only live once? Because you could do that every day for your whole life if you wanted. What's
It also seems to be deliberately reminding oneself of the possibilities of cremation.
yeah? But if you want a you only live once, like put something fatal on your toast, and then literally you've done it. That's
Black
it.
pudding every day.
Oh, yum.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
I'd do is have a
Don't think that'd be
Rolo.
that bad. A Rolo.
Yeah, that's going to
Lovely.
remind you of YOLO, surely.
Yeah, that sounds tasty.
I'll tell you what I do like. If I'm going to put butter on and say Marmite jam, lemon curd,
Yeah.
I like to go to the very edges of
Oh,
the
hang on,
bread.
let me see if that might be mentioned.
To the point where, when I pick up the piece of toast, I want the outline of it to be on the work surface, like when you spray when you spray around
no,
a stencil.
Yeah, I'd pull back before then.
Would you?
Yeah.
I don't. I haven't got where I am today to eat dry bread.
This is Absolute Radio. And that is Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We've got some New Year's resolutions for you.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
I asked people to send in resolutions for me to do, which I
Yeah.
think is a good idea because one never completely trusts oneself to choose the right resolution. You love to take the easy way out.
Well, here's a couple from you. Jill has tweeted.
Speaking to the mic, Zoe.
Sorry, I'm lounging again. Jill has.
I thought we'd get a
tweeted-
stand-up comedian on. We wouldn't have to tell him to speak into the
I've
mic.
deflated.
I'm melting!
Well, she says, what happened to your New Year's resolution of 2009 to listen more?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about...
Hold on. I'm still listening to... yeah, you know what? That is a good resolution. Because I don't. I'm always on the verge of interruption.
Right, well, here's some more for you.
Oh, that's it with
There you
Catholics.
go.
didn't you also have a New Year's resolution to do some pickling? Was that
Yes,
last year
I
or
was
the
gonna
year
pick-
before?
I was going to pick on my own roll mops.
Oh,
Lovely.
no. God, I hope that's not a euphemism.
No.
But I tell you, I had to go, and it didn't. I think I was using the wrong vinegar. There must be a special.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Poad has tweeted in, he recommends that your New Year's resolution should be not to mention Doctor Who every week. Ooh,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
I wish you'd needed to read that out a bit earlier.
Yeah.
Okay,
We've blown it this week. Try next week.
I'm going to lay off.
And
Lay
then
off
to
mentioning
counter
Doctor Who.
that, the yin and the yang of life, Richard Long has tweeted in and said, appear in Doctor Who more often.
Yes, that's quite a tricky New Year's resolution for me to make. We're going to photobomb the recordings.
They could just have you in the background every week, like a sort of a version of Where's Wally, where we just try and spot Frank in the background.
I just walk past like Eric Morecambe used to at the end of the
or
show.
Hitchcock.
Yeah.
That'd be great. We've also had a text, 528 has texted, morning all, Frank absolutely right with going right to the edges. I once complained at the Royal Dorchester Hotel regarding the fact that there was more bread than filling in my sandwich that I had paid £11 for. I was asked to leave for causing a scene in the brasserie. That's great.
I mean, you'd think at
Was
a
that
place
Claridge's, did you say?
It was the Dorchester,
Oh, the
but
Dorchester,
other
okay.
exclusive hotels are available.
we mentioned too.
Yeah.
If there's any more than that, they're not that exclusive after
Good
all.
point.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute
Radio.
Richard Sir has tweeted in.
Richard Sir, is that
Richard
his...
Sir.
do you think you might have got that the wrong way around?
No, it's a surname.
Richard
His
Sir.
surname,
His
very
I
good.
say, I
His surname
say.
is Sir, which I mean, we must cause confusion on the phone. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's not what the tweet's about. He says, I can assure you Frank.
Assure you?
I can assure
Yeah.
that the children who benefit from UNICEF's work are not posh.
Yes, but you see, I made this point. I said it was a good cause. I just said I find that the figureheads of it all live in Monaco. Which I find, but obviously they do, obviously they're doing good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wish people would just listen.
And we did cover the various aspects of this breakfast study, but the study was commissioned by marmalade makers and a bakery, so I suppose it is going to be toast heavy, isn't it? They're not going to do stuff for people like me that eat a bowl of yoghurt and nuts. But there's another food-based story.
Get you.
Apparently arguing with your spouse could make you fat. That's what the story says.
How does that work?
I think it's... it's not actually that cheery. If people have been depressed before and then they have marital rows, it can lead to piling on the pounds, apparently.
Yeah, but surely, if you become obese, don't you automatically become jolly?
That's supposedly the thing.
So it's a sort
That's
of...
how it's meant to go, isn't it?
It's sort of self-basting, this thing. It sort of cures itself.
And I would have thought that arguing was quite good for slimming, because surely you're wildly gesticulating, all that slamming doors.
Well, exactly. I remember once repeatedly screaming, why, whilst destroying an IKEA wardrobe with my bare hands. It's probably one of the best cardiovascular workouts I've ever had.
Yeah, you lost 7 pounds that day, didn't you?
Are they easier to take apart than they are to put together?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't remember. I think
You didn't need an Allen
I looked
key.
at the instructions once.
Yeah. It would really take the sting out of an argument if you were destroying it with an Allen key.
Yeah,
wouldn't
exactly.
It? It would just...
Yeah, and saying, "Oh, hold on, where have I put? Where's the bit where it says?" Yes. No, so
apparently arguing makes you fat, but sometimes you see a couple where there's one really thin one and one really fat one. Now, if I see them, I'm going to think, oh, they've just met and the fat one's obviously been in a really bad previous relationship.
Or he's having a very, very difficult affair. This opens a lot of doors, this. I have argued with Kath, my girlfriend, to the point where I've vomited, which is a
Wow.
time-honoured method of losing weight.
That's like the adult version of screaming till you're sick.
It's a time-honoured measure of losing an argument. You puke, she goes, right, that's it, I've won.
Yeah, it's not a bad indicator.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. You can. I'm with Alan Cochrane and Zoe Lyons this morning. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio Webby.
Interesting.
So, Zoe, I feel you've been on 2 hours now. We haven't really heard about your life.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Were you recently married?
I was recently married, yes.
How recently?
16th of December.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it too late? I don't think it's too late for congratulations.
No,
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I mean, we converted our civil partnership into a marriage. That's what we did. I don't mean to take away from the proceedings.
still,
but
yeah,
it was nice. It was nice. You go through a little...
Can I ask a question? And forgive now the ignorance of the heterosexual. But if two ladies get married, is there still a white, a wedding dress opportunity?
There is, but we didn't go down that avenue. That's not for us.
So are some weddings between two women, they both wear a wedding dress? That must be pretty spectacular. And who comes down first?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, that is the thing. I mean, can you imagine? There must be arguments on the old
there'll be arguments.
Days. People have
It's a
gone,
wedding.
made a better effort than me. Yeah. That's what there is that problem that one of you is going to stand there going, I'm the princess. This is my day.
Was there
did
ever...
that at mine.
Did you? Yeah. It's awkward. It's
What
awkward.
I'd do if I was a lady marrying a lady, I would arrange that we wore the same wedding dress and came down in just an absolute swirl of taffeta and silk.
Nice.
And when the veil went up, there was the two faces just staring out at the vicar.
Nice. Although it'd look like a team wedding then, wouldn't it? I suppose they're about to embark on being a
I
team.
just think it would look like it would suggest your unity, that the two becomes one.
But then it's
We
only
didn't do that.
Tonight is the night. Gone. The two becomes one.
That was our first dance song. Was it? No, it really wasn't, Frank. No, it wasn't.
I need your love like I've never need. Anyway.
So we're not that romantic. I'm particularly not that romantic.
Well, you got married, so
well,
you must
yeah,
be
but
fairly.
I've always been my
Is it a paperwork
lady
thing?
wife. Yeah, it's kind of a paperwork. Well, no, it wasn't a paperwork thing. But I mean, a little bit. But you know, my good lady wife is often suggesting that I'm not very romantic. So on the day of our wedding, I did say to her, "You look very beautiful today." Because it was a winter wedding, so she was wearing a little jumper, and I said, "You look very, very beautiful today. You look
Well,
like
you have to say that.
you look like Kirk Douglas in The Heroes of Telemark."
Oh, you don't have
apparently
to
that's
say
not-
that.
Good reference.
Apparently
She's
that's
a
not
film
romantic.
critic.
No.
Oh.
No, Kirk Douglas. Do you know the film The Heroes of Telemark? He looks really good in that jumper.
Yeah, but he is a he.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's the
So,
that's
yeah.
the sticky
Is it
wicket there.
recent? It's not since he's become
No, that was
an
a
older
film
man.
from the 60s.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, well, I bet he did look great.
He looked cracking, but apparently that's not a very romantic thing to
Yeah,
say.
he
to
didn't
your
look particularly bridal, I'm
wife.
guessing.
So
That's true. I used to compare my wife to Harry Potter when she wore thick glasses and had short dark hair, and that apparently was a difficult thing to sell as
Well,
well.
I told my girlfriend when I first met her that she looked like Michael Jackson. And she still brings that up now.
Well, none of us have covered ourselves in glory in those
No.
3 admissions.
No, that's true.
But it's a strange thing because when we had our paper signing ceremony to convert to a marriage, the lovely registrar said to us, "What are you going to call yourself? Now you're going to double barrel your names." And I went, "No, because we're not idiots." And also my wife's Dutch, and she's already got a double barrel name, so I'd have a triple barreled name. So that's if there's more
too
hyphen than name, then it's just silly, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
it's just no.
It just becomes a list.
It's a list of
Yeah.
names. So
You say, I'll pass the duchy.
but then it did dawn past the duchy on the left-hand side.
That's your business. So,
But I have an issue now.
Are you Mrs. Zoe Lyons?
No, because I didn't marry my dad. So that's, and I'm not my mum.
Well,
I just,
that's-
you
I
know
mean,
what I
that-
mean? I didn't marry
That
a
rarely
Mr.
happens
Lyons. I know.
in urban areas. I think that's very much a countryside thing. And they're not official. They just jump over a
So
sprig of heather.
I've had a real thing recently where I don't really know what to call myself. So the plumber came round yesterday, which sounds... anyway, and he was filling out the paperwork and he went, "Is it Miss, Ms, Mrs?" And I sort of panicked, went,
None of the above.
just put Miss! But it's not Miss. I don't feel like a Miss. I
Not
don't
if
feel
you're married.
No, and I'm married, but I'm not a
must
Mrs. Lyons, and I don't like Ms. I'm sorry, I don't. It just sounds a little bit vinegary. It just,
Can I
it's
make a suggestion?
Yes.
Mr. works really well
Well,
for
you
me.
know what? Yes. Well, I don't know why
Why
I
not have a
can't
crack
get
at
married.
Mr.?
It's all right for blokes because you don't get to change your title. I've just started making them up. I call myself the captain now.
Captain's good.
That's what I do.
Captain Zoe Lyons. It doesn't really suggest you're married, though, does
No,
it?
she's first officer and I'm captain, and
Yeah.
that works for us. But
But
it's
it
a
does make
real
it-
pain if you're filling online forms.
Yeah. I think you want something that says that you're married, though, don't you? Or don't you?
I don't care.
But
I
that's
don't
what Miss
care.
and Mrs. does.
What about just
Just
married?
yeah.
What about
Wait.
married? Married
Married
Zoe
Zoe
Lyons.
Lyons.
What
That's
about,
whatever.
about Ringo?
I could be like
Ringo.
Do you ever get, because your name is Zoe Lyons, which is like Z Lyons, so in America your name would be Z Lyons.
Z Lions.
Or as in, there was 2 Z Lions
Yeah.
I saw at the zoo today, applauding
Lion.
and balancing. Do you ever
Like
get
a
that?
German lion. Have you seen Z Lions?
In fact, you could change your name to Lioness.
Oh, that'd be good.
Well, she could change her name to Lioness, and I could
You
still
could stick with
be.
Lions, perfect. She got her head shaved.
There we go.
Yours went a bit bushy, a bit 90s.
I had a full mane.
That's it. At last we've sorted that out.
Frank Skinner is his name, and this radio station is
Absolute Radio.
Just before we return to Zoe's week, I have received a text, Frank, about New Year's resolutions that I think you may appreciate. Good morning, Frank, Alun and Locum Emily. There you go. Enjoy that title. I'm always impressed with Mr. Skinner's vocabulary and the repertoire he has. Perhaps a proactive and magnanimous New Year's resolution could be to teach the nation a new word, brackets, origins, variations, usage, every week.
That'd go down well.
I've always fancied Frank as a sage and learned scholarly professor. Love the show, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny, which coincidentally is the name of my PA. That Christmas bonus was not wasted. Well, incidentally, as we were I was just singing a Spice Girls number. Here's the thing: when they were absolutely massive, the Spice Girls, they had a period when two of them were pregnant. I think it was Mel B and Victoria. And so they weren't working for a bit. So I thought it'd be good to get Mel C on. I had a chat show in those days. So I wrote to her personally, saying, as two of your band members are currently gravid, I wondered if you'd consider coming on the show during this, I don't think I said hiatus. I didn't want to push it. So she did come on the show. And, it was quite exciting to have a Spice Girl on. And she said, it's that word you use, that gravid. I actually got one of the people at the office to look it up, so I knew what it meant. And it means pregnant, obviously, but it's to do with gravity. It's to do with the stomach being pulled down by the weight of it. So it's a beautiful. It's using vocabulary to book Spice Girls.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the title of my new Made Simple. I'm going to do. Okay. I'll tell you what is when you think about titles, I was thinking the other day about Your Highness. You know when you have to say Your Highness to, you know when you say to a member of the royal family, Your Highness.
Yeah.
If you actually stop and break that down, you're actually saying Your Highness. So you could, it's equivalent to saying My Lowness.
Yes.
Isn't it? You're actually referring to their superiority in a very, very cold Your Highness.
You're big up there.
Yeah.
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 Couldn't we meet in the middle somewhere with the royals?
They're not like us, though.
They're not like us. They're higher. They're actually higher.
That's why they get that title, isn't it?
Well, is it?
Newsflash.
Is it, though? So what else, Zoe?
Well, this has also been this has been the week that I discovered I'm middle-aged. It all came at once.
Oh, marriage and middle age.
Yeah, it all sort of came at once. A couple of little things happened, and I realised I'd entered a new stage of life. I shouted at some kids on a bus. It felt really good.
They were on the bus, or
They were
you
on the bus too, yeah. I wasn't just randomly shouting from the bus. Oi, kids! They were on the bus and they were stood on seats, and normally I'd just let it go. And it was in Hove, I have to point out, where a lot of kids are called Banjo and Django, and my life wasn't in danger. I might have had some lentils thrown at me, but no, I took matters into my own hands and shouted.
Well, I think you might be what they call a have-a-go hero.
That's a have-a-go hero.
Well, you had a go anyway.
Yeah. I shouted at some kids on a bus, told them to get off the seat, and they did, which I couldn't believe. I felt very empowered.
Great,
I beated my chest. I beated it. Same week, I shouted at a cyclist who rode past me in my car, and he had no lights on in the dark. And I just don't get this. And I drove past him. I lowered my window and shouted obscenities, I'm afraid.
Oh, really? You didn't shout
regarding the lights.
So
regarding
you've let
the lights
yourself
down there, and then put the window up and drove slowly off, and thought that felt wonderful.
Did it?
It felt really good. Until the lights changed and it got to red, and then I realised he was still behind me, and that had to jump a red light and almost caused an accident. But other than that,
yeah.
And also this week I was on a train and I was reading the newspaper, and I'd arrived at my stop, so I didn't have time to do the Sudoku, so I carefully tore it from the paper, carefully down the edges, and popped it in my pocket for later. And I thought, that's it. It's arrived.
Yeah.
Middle age is here. Like a Velcro slipper, it has walked into my life.
I have to say, if I'm on a train or a method of public transport and I see someone opposite me rip something out of a paper or a magazine and put it in their pocket, it makes me feel really happy. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just find it such a nice thing to see.
Especially if it's a bogey.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
The thing is, we were just talking about Sudokus.
Oh, yes.
I've never done one, because I'm not terribly numerate. But I did strike me, because I've often thought, what would it like to be like a crossword compiler? Imagine that'd be quite exciting, interesting job. But Sudoku, of course, you've got the plus that if you compile good Sudokus, I suppose there's good ones and bad ones, aren't there?
I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm presuming you do them as you rip them out of paper, or do you use them as coasters?
But I think the only thing that makes them the only thing that makes them different is the lack of numbers. So I don't know whether there's much that goes into making a Sudoku other than taking the numbers away.
Okay. What I think about it is they are the Mr. Bean of the crossword world, in that they're international.
Yes.
Whereas you can't do that with a crossword.
No.
You can't say, well, we just use the same grid, we'll just translate the clues into Spanish.
No.
I suppose the word Sudoku does give it a slight international feel.
Japanese, isn't it?
Doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Because I don't know about you, I've tried to do Japanese crosswords and it just isn't easy.
Well, they're all down, there's no crosses.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually, I think, an excellent joke.
It was a very good joke. We gave it nothing.
I felt like
Because the Japanese write downwards. Have I just got it really late?
But you know, some of them do fall on stony ground.
Yes.
On the cyclist front, I was once in a traffic jam, and when suddenly there was a tap at my car window. But I wouldn't let her out. It's a joke. And I looked, and there was a bearded man at the side window of my car, heavily bearded. This is before beards became fashionable again.
Right, back in the day.
And he was a thin, bearded man on a bicycle. And he knocked on the window, and I thought he was in distress. So I wound the window down, and he said, "You're poisoning my planet."
Oh.
And I said, no, I'm poisoning our planet. But it does make me feel nostalgic. At the time, I was quite outraged by this. If I watched him go up the queue of cars, doing it to every
What
car.
were you driving? A coal-fuelled tractor?
Back when you had a Hummer, wasn't it? Remember you had a Humvee?
What was I driving? I think I had a Golf.
Oh, then they're quite fuel efficient.
Yeah, so I wasn't poisoning it that much.
Yeah.
But I think he didn't want to single anyone out, so he just told it. But it
them all
reminds me of a time when cycling was done by people like that, sort of, you know, slightly hippie-type people who like the simple things in life and probably, you know, had maybe made their own bread and stuff like that.
Lived in a yurt.
Yeah. And it takes me a nostalgic time for the cycling.
Knitted their own bicycles.
Whereas cycling now, I think I've mentioned this before, but as a result of the Olympics, it became a sort of, you know, a macho thing. And now people who do it, well, they're a bit aftershave and talk sport. If you know what I mean.
Frank Skinner is his name, and this radio station is
Absolute Radio.
We've got some information that's come in.
I love information.
You love information.
Whereas inflammation, I don't like.
You're not a big fan of that, are you?
Isn't it odd? A tiny little difference, and yet it makes all the.
One letter. I lived in Italy when I was
pregnant. It was just one letter before you text in.
I lived in Italy when I was pregnant with my son. The way of saying pregnant in Italian is in gravidanza, which confirms your use of the word gravida.
That's a good in gravidanza.
Yeah,
I like that.
Nice.
It's a bit like
You having
bonanza.
Bonanza.
Yeah.
Yeah, in bonanza.
In bonanza.
I can
Would be a
imagine
different
like
thing.
4 pregnant women on horses coming through a burning map of Kansas.
Please give your
Carson
seat up
City.
for a lady who is in Bonanza.
In gravidanza, I'm going to use that.
We've had more suggestions.
And is she in gravidanza?
We've had more suggestions for New Year's resolutions. I like this one. I'm very much behind this one. Let cars queuing at junctions out more. I'm totally behind that. I'm totally behind that.
So you don't mind abusing cyclists and
No.
shouting at kids on buses.
Yeah. But when it comes to junctions, it makes sense.
But
Let people
only
out.
one. I only let one out.
Well, let one move. Let one move.
Exactly,
It's the
that's
dance
how
of
it
life.
should work,
It's the dance of life.
But
And then
I
if
always-
you have been let out, always give the double blinky thank you.
Yes.
Otherwise, the anger.
Yes. But I tell you what, I find that every time I let someone out, they almost always turn right at the next side road. And they turn from the middle of the road, so I'm sitting behind them, thinking, why did I let this idiot in? But that hasn't stopped me doing it, because I think sometimes goodness is more important than convenience.
Absolutely. Believe in better.
And, of course, cleanliness is next to goodness, but only in a really rubbish dictionary.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This story in the news caught my eye this week because it finally a good use for Twitter, I think.
You're on the Twitter.
I'm on the Twitter. And less of a Twitter troll story, more of a Twitter roll story, this. It was a young man called Adam Greenwood who was travelling from Euston to Glasgow on a Virgin train.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And went to the little boys' room, shall we say, and discovered, after completing the operation, that there was no toilet roll in said water closet.
Oh, that's a terrible
And
moment.
tweeted his...
Water closet. Very good.
water closet, thank you. And tweeted his depicament. And Virgin Trains responded and sent a roll down the carriage to him, which is
That is pretty...
marvellous.
When you say roll down the carriage...
Roll down the
They
carriage.
didn't stand at one end of the train and roll it straight down.
the carriage. No,
That is lovely. It was
lovely.
It was
He,
a headline that was begging for poetry.
Yes, it was.
I'm glad
I
they avoided
resisted.
it. Yes.
I resisted, they resisted. But
It's great. It's great they got one to... I think fairly briskly they got him a toilet
Yeah, they
roll.
tweeted back and said, which carriage are you in? And he was a very astute young man. He'd taken the letter of the carriage he was in.
Well, I read that he sneakily opened his door quickly,
And had a look.
to see which carriage it was, and then shut
No.
the door again. Yeah, that's what I read.
But
that he'd
surely,
done.
when you went, wouldn't you take your ticket with you?
Yeah,
So that
but
would have
still-
the carriage... Actually, if you had your ticket with you...
There you go, job done.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on
if
what
this
sort
happened
of...
before they'd been examined. Tickets, please. Yes.
Yes, I can explain.
I've put mine in a carrier bag.
And the corner's missing because I cleaned under the nails. But,
Yes. But you see, there is a lesson to be had here. When I first lived with a lady, I'd left home some years before, but I was living on my own, and then I moved in a person, a cohabitant, a woman.
You're being cagey about this.
Yes.
Is there some kind of lawsuit from
I
Ben
never
or something?
actually.
You
I
can't
never
reveal
actually.
anything.
I'm going back to my own trepidation because I never told my dad that I was actually living with someone because we're Catholics and then I know he
Right.
wouldn't have made him happy. But I think he did know, but we never spoke of it openly. And then one day, my girlfriend said he took us on one side and said, "Can you make sure that he never leaves the house without a fresh, neatly ironed handkerchief?" And if this man had taken that advice,
Yeah,
he wouldn't have needed to have tweeted
He'd
anyone.
currently own one less handkerchief.
Yeah, well, they do
it'd be the
wash.
smell of
They
burning
do
hankies.
wash. Ugh.
They do, yeah. Wouldn't it be on? It'd be stuck to a train spotter somewhere after it had gone out the window. And you know what? Would that be a bad thing?
I once had to pass a lady toilet roll under, it was East Croydon platform station toilet, which is
Can
a
we
very
hold this?
lonely place.
I'd like to play some music, and I like the idea as cliffhangers go. This will take some beating.
Frank Skinner is his name, and this radio station is
Absolute Radio.
Zoe left us with a cliffhanger.
Yes, I once had an experience on East Croydon train station platform toilet, which is one of the loneliest places on earth.
Okay.
And they're horrible toilets because they haven't got the seats either. They've got the sort of nailed-down seats.
Oh, yeah.
Or they used to. Do you know what I mean? So
Yes,
it was
yes.
like being in a young offenders centre without. Anyway, so I was in there, and the door. But I was in the cubicle, and I heard somebody go into the cubicle beside me, and then a second later, in a really northern accent as well. Actually, somebody just went, "Oh no!"
Oh, it's not. Are you sure it wasn't a red wine stain?
Yeah. I went, "Can I help you?" And she went, "Oh, no, toilet paper." And I went, "Don't worry, I'll pass some to..." And I'm a bit prudish anyway, so I don't really like having a conversation. I don't really like having a conversation with somebody in the cubicle beside
No,
me. So
no.
I sort of gathered up enough of what I thought would be enough and sort of handed it underneath.
Oh, you didn't give it the whole roll?
Oh, no, I needed... I'd keep some back.
Of course, yeah.
But she carried on talking to me while still carrying...
Oh, no.
Yes, so... she carried on talking to me while she was obviously still
Yes.
on in the...
No,
in
you
the-
don't-
yeah,
you don't want
no.
that.
And apparently she worked for a choir, and they were like... She kept saying to me, I've been doing quite a lot of work with the choir, and some of them have got the voices of angels! So I
just
had...
awful.
yes, yeah. I had to just leave. I left. I just crept out of the toilet, and she just kept
Probably
talking.
still
She's still
there now.
She's still there.
Talking about that boy soprano.
Yeah.
Well, on that,
Sorry, I've lowered
one
the
might say a
tone.
slightly acrid note.
Yeah.
We come to the end of the show. Thank you, Zoe, for joining us today. It's
Thank
been
you for having
fabulous. Well, thanks, Alun, as well. I don't normally thank
Cheers.
everyone.
Cheers.
You know, it's not who thanks me. No one.
Thanks, Frank.
Cheers. And you know what? If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.